Good morning. We've got another Monday morning, and hopefully you didn't stay up too late. I'm not sure it was the best Super Bowl game, at least I've ever seen. And it's kind of scratching my head, and hard to believe it's been 60 years since they had the first Super Bowl, which I actually can remember, and I can certainly remember Super Bowl III. And seeing Joe Namath on the pregame shows was certainly an interesting experience. And after the game, because I didn't have much interest in who won or not, since the New York Giants were not in any Super Bowls in the last few years, I was able to go to sleep. And that brought me to the articles that just keep coming back over and over again on the amount of sleep that we get. So here's an article, USA Health, Stop the Sleep Thief. Here's another one, comes out of the Tufts Nutrition Health Letter, Optimizing Your Sleep. Here's the next one I'm looking for. There's one that comes out of Mind, Mood, and Memory about getting the right amount of sleep and some tips on how you can get the right amount of sleep. So what do you do when you know you want to get to sleep? I mean, who doesn't want to get the right amount of sleep? And what are some of the things that at least are constantly being recommended at optimizing your sleep? Now, why is sleep important? Because what the neuroscience world tells us today is getting the right amount of sleep is crucial for your cognitive fitness. It certainly is crucial for your body's immune systems and getting the rejuvenation that we get from a good night's sleep, and the feeling of getting up and not feeling tired and being alert and smart about our workday. And so I don't know of anybody that doesn't get sleep or has insomnia and says, oh, this is great, I don't get to sleep and therefore I can stay awake all night long and do stuff. I haven't met that person yet. So to that regard, from looking at the UCLA letter, looking at the Healthy Years that put out by Mount Sinai, looking at the Health and Nutrition newsletter from Tufts, I try to synthesize, so what are the best things that we can do to get a good night's sleep? And I keep reading these suggestions, and it's always interesting to find something that really helps trigger a positive response. Now, I find at times when I can't get to sleep, is the room temperature the right? Especially as we go in Florida now. Last month has not been a problem. The room is nice and comfortable. It's cool, cold some nights. Getting under the covers, just snuggling up, grabbing your pillow is not a bad thing, and I can get to sleep. Sometimes I get up in the middle of the night and I've got something on my mind, some work that needs to get done, somebody I needed to call, a follow-up that is striking me, losing something, and I'm like, where is it? And so our brains are working on those things, and one of the things people don't realize is your brain is working 24/7. So getting the right temperature in the room, getting the right covers, the right pillow, all important that you have the comforts of a good night's sleep. Now, the goal, obviously, we keep seeing is 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night, and that means you're not getting up every half hour and getting up in the morning totally exhausted. So I keep reading it's anywhere from 7 to 9 hours. And so there's a range of how you get to sleep. The next one is getting a schedule. What time is your normal bedtime hours? What time are you normally getting up? And so I know sometimes people like to be spontaneous about that, especially for those that stayed up late and watched the end of the Super Bowl and the post-game shows. What schedule are you on? And then they're talking about Mondays being a national holiday for Super Bowl recoveries. And I'm like, not sure I'm into that one either, but getting a schedule of when you want to go to sleep and then when you need to get up. So you go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, and here's the hard part, doing that same thing on weekends, when I know a lot of people, especially even my grandkids, use weekends to catch up on their sleep deprivation they've had during the whole week. Setting the right mood. A cool, dark, quiet room helps signal your body time to rest. And what we're seeing more and more is these blue lights that we have from some of the technologies that we may have in our room, the blue light switch on a wall, maybe the thermostat control, maybe it's got a blue light, we can do it electronically. And so eliminating the blue lights from the TV, from maybe an electrical appliance that you've got in your room, how do you darken the room so that you don't have any type of lighting? I know I look at the shades in our room and the curtains and make sure there's not a little sliver, right? You don't want a little sliver, especially if you got a nice bright moon out at night. And so you have a nice dark room that basically tells your brain it's time to go to sleep. And it's good to stay asleep. How about turning off devices 30 minutes before bed and no caffeine late in the day? Now, caffeine's an interesting one because people think of coffee, right? Caffeine, coffee. But when you start to look at other foods that have caffeine in it, that might alter that a little bit. But certainly caffeine in chocolate. I mean, I was a chocolate cookie, chocolate 72% cocoa, whatever, and so I'm big on the low sugar chocolates, but my goodness, pop of chocolate, it's got caffeine in it, and then I find out that caffeine's not good for acid reflux, so I'm weaning myself off of nighttime chocolate. Not sure I know what the benefits are to my sleep yet, but the foods that we eat that may have caffeine in it after a certain time of the day trigger a chemical response in your body, and that's going to keep you awake. And so what are you doing in terms of your eating? And then some people come home from work and then they're busy catching up on things and have dinners at 7, 8 o'clock at night, and their digestive system's got to process that. And so sometimes you get acid reflux and your stomach is growling and you're trying to lay in bed with a full stomach, and that's not too good. So do you have your eating times and your limits? Reducing your liquids close to bedtime. So watch your eating fluids, any soda, water, even water, right? Any drinks, fruit juice drinks, a beer. What are you drinking and what time is it last time? And going through the urology side of this, right? Having you get up during the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And that interrupts your sleep. Then managing your stress. If there's one thing that keeps me awake at night or keeps me going, is anything that's urgent, I'm trying to get accomplished. And so managing your stress levels certainly are something that you need to try to get yourself into a quiet space. I like to listen to 60s and 70s music that in a soft beat, not let's go rock and roll. It's in a very soft tone, very peaceful at times, and then I have a sound machine that makes waves and has birds and trees and has a waterfall, and sometimes I'll put that on, and that the problem with that is it puts me to sleep, and then I wake up and then go, I gotta go make sure I shut this off. And so how do you manage your stress levels? And doing some exercise, not aerobic, but some stretching exercise, and then staying hydrated. So these are the things that are all positive in terms of what you can do to help yourself with sleep. And as I say to people, it takes some discipline and it takes some time. And this is something you got to eventually build this into your routines, into your schedules. And my goodness, who doesn't want to get a good night's sleep? Especially when you realize what sleep does to the toxins in your brain has an impact on your mental functions, whether it be the next day or long term. And with that, I hope you didn't stay up too late last evening, and if you did, you got yourself off through the day today, and you can get back to a regular schedule of sleep as quickly as possible, which is not easy, especially if you're sleeping late on weekends, and it's time to get up on Monday morning. But we'll see you back here on Wednesday. I promise you, I will be here and see you with some new topics that may be helpful.